All right, so Lane's headed to LSU. This is a big day. I want him at Florida just because of the pieces he would have had to start. I thought it was more there to start for him offensively than he's going to have at LSU. But we'll see what the portal and recruiting gives him. But yeah, I mean, look, this is a hard hire to grade. I think if I'm LSU, it's hard for me to really give this a great grade, just because of the fact that how long is he gonna be there? Like, I think will he like where is Lane at? If a Texas were to open, would he be the one to go? If I feel with the way Lane has been operating in college football and the way he kind of seems to be moving, it wouldn't shock me if that right there is the head coach of Alabama football here in a couple of years. And that head coach of Ole Miss, or he should change it by now. He also doesn't give a damn. But it wouldn't shock me right now that says in a couple of years the head coach of Alabama. After it says head coach of Ole Miss and head coach of LSU, it wouldn't shock me if he had to change that again here in a couple of years because there was rumors about him waiting out for that Bama job, seeing what happens, and that's my concern with Lane is when does it end for him? Like, what's the end? When is he gonna stop? How when is he gonna stay make somewhere and make it home? Like, is this his last stop in college and only thing left is NFL, or what? Like, if I knew that, I'd feel more comfortable with Lane being at LSU. Okay, well I know, okay. Or is he like, man, I don't care about the NFL. I'm here at LSU, and if I'm not coaching LSU, I'm probably not coaching. I'm retiring. Like, that's my only problem with Lane is like, as much as LSU fans, I know y'all are excited. That's my problem. It's like, what happens if you only get them for 3 years? Then it's kind of more like a waste of time. Not like a waste of time, because I mean LSU, that's what they've been doing. They get coaches for 4, 5, 6, whatever years. They win a national, and then they end up getting fired or whatever. So it is what it is. But that's my concern. Is like, what happens if you're only there for 3 to 4 years and he leaves, and then LSU's back to right where they started? We have to go find a whole new coach, and we got to do all this stuff all over again. It's like, what? And they're sitting over there, man. We lost, and then what if he leaves for Alabama? It, can LSU fans stomach that? It's all smiles now, but it won't be smiles if he leaves for Alabama. It won't be. So that's kind of my issue because I tell you this right now. I know Alabama fans. If this don't work out with the board, they're gonna be running for Kiffin, and I wouldn't blame them. So that's kind of my thing with Lane is like, man, for LSU fans, what if he leaves for Alabama? What if he leaves for Texas? What if he leaves for the NFL? And then you're back to where you started. And then some of them teams like Alabama, you can't stomach that. I mean, you have to live with it, but it's gonna be one of them things you're gonna be feeling just like the Ole Miss fans now. And I'll be honest, I don't condone how Ole Miss fans sent off Lane Kiffin with the middle finger and cursing him out. I don't. I know that's not the right way to handle that situation. I don't agree with the fans doing that. I get why they're doing it, but I don't agree with them handling a situation like that. Uh, but I get it, mainly because this is not Lane Kiffin's fault. Like, this is the fault of the NCAA, and like a lot of things in this country, a lot of people who have power to, a lot of people who have the power to make change in this country, just refuse to sit on their hands and do nothing. And that's what the NCAA has done. The fact that the portal opens January 2nd, whatever, during the playoffs, like, that's just the dumbest thing ever. Uh, like, that don't make no sense. High school signing days on December 3rd. Like, so whoever you're getting in your recruiting class for your true freshman class is signing on Wednesday. I think December 3rd is Wednesday, but they're signing in the next couple of days, December 3rd. Like, so before the middle of January, you're gonna have to have your freshman class and your probably your transporter class by the time middle to end of January comes around. Or freshman class will be done before December barely even starts, and then portal class will need to be done before January is even over. So it's like, and you're gonna be and then every coach is gonna, if you're a coach like Lane, you might just be trying to fight. Oh, am I gonna be in the playoffs? Am I not? Am I gonna be coaching? Am I gonna be allowed to coach the team in the playoffs? Am I not? It's not Lane's fault that the calendar is so out of whack. Like this, I think it's almost like SGA and the NBA and officiating. And remember with James Harden, the fans shouldn't be mad at Lane Kiffin. They should be letting me mad at the NCAA because the fact that the calendar is this bad and the NCAA refuses to change it, that's not Lane Kiffin's fault. There's nothing he can do. The UNT coach is going through the same thing. The UNT coach is going through the same thing. He's dealing with the same stuff where he's having a fight. I'm coaching UNT and I'm about to go to Oak State. I'm trying to hire staff. I'm trying to finish off this high school class, offer some kids, start getting up with the 2027, 2028 kids, building my coaching staff, building relationships, meeting the fan base. Like, you're trying to do all these things, trying to get ready to meet the fan base. Go have your introductory prep. When is this gonna happen? When is this? When is that? I'm trying to. I might have to. I'm trying to go in the conference championship. When am I going to do? Like, you're balancing two different things. You're about to leave a whole other fan base in a place where that you became this person that's wanted by all these different schools. So like, that's my, or at least by Oak State. So it's like, that's my whole thing. Is like, look, this is gonna be the future where coaches who are at lower level programs are gonna go and have to go make these kind of moves. And again, it's not Eric Morris's fault. It's not Lane Kiffin's fault. It's not John Summerall's fault. It's The sad thing is that it's everybody. It's the NCAA's fault. The people higher ups with the power to fix the calendar are not fixing it. I believe that, because NCAA still they're doing this off an academic calendar. What I believe they're doing, why they're making a portal January, is because you got to get in school and academics. I believe it's up to me. If I was an NCAA commissioner, I'd stop operating on an academic calendar, especially when it came to football. But if I was an NCAA commissioner, what I would do is just something I thought about. I mean, definitely thought about in the shower. Was I would do the whole. I would actually make it to where when you sign your letter of intent, you sign it to where you no longer, like, the players. I would make it to where the players decide, okay, hey, we're gonna make it to where we need y'all to defer y'all's academic career until after you're done in college. That, I think that's how you do that. That's how the NCAA, if they want to really make this thing like a real life thing, they need to make it to where these players don't have to worry about academics, and not worry but focus on and so it could be, hey, when you're in college, all you need to think about is football. Academics is no longer a thing for you. That would, in an NIL, in an NLI, what they need to do is they need to make it where these players now, when they sign, they're going to be given a on a contract, whatever they sign the paper, that, hey, you're allowed to get whatever 4-year degree you want to get, but you're gonna, I'm not saying force them, but honestly, all the players say, I'm gonna defer this because, like, I need to do this after, but you're gonna do it after your football career is over. So we want these players to focus on football, and then when you do that, then these players no longer operate on an academic calendar. Now the players can transfer. Now you can move the transporter to like a February or an end of January after the national championship game and all that kind of stuff. And then you can move like that. And then the football is no longer operating on an academic calendar. And I think that's what we need to understand. Let's be honest. The players that are in college right now, especially at LSU and Texas and Georgia and Bam, they're not focused on academics. Most of them aren't, and they shouldn't be. These are fighting to be professional athletes, and are fighting to be elite college players, and are fighting to get on the field. These players, let them. I believe these players should be able to figure this academic stuff out after their career. I say, okay, once you leave college, and okay, if you go 3 years and done, boom, okay, then when you go to the NFL, then you can decide. Because right now, that the players focus on academics is kind of just a waste of time. I don't believe players should be focused. I think that then I don't think they should be focused on it. Mainly because it would make it to where we don't operate on an academic calendar, and then what you would get was you'd be able to get them move the portal back. You'd be able to, and I think what you'd be able to do too is, I think they need to move that signing day. I think they need to make National Signing Day February, so coaches like Lane Kiffin could still have time. I think if you move that transfer portal now, do you want to do portal signing day at the same time? We could always debate that, but I think, look, if we got the portal to open at the end of January and signing day to be during the beginning of February, or whatever, that'd be better. That would be considerably better than what we have right now. If National Signing Day was in February like it used to be, and but again, that would also take away from. I guess you kind of, it depends on how you want to do it, because then you wouldn't be able to do spring practice. But again, you got to take it and you got to leave it. How you want to do that? I mean, I guess you could. I mean, like, 'cause spring practice is not till what, March? Again, if it was up to me, this is how I would do it. I'd make National Signing Day February. Spring practice is not till what, March, and then spring game or March or April. So the players still have plenty of time to get in their dorms, get their pads, and then coaches can give them. I mean, look, I'll be honest. I don't give it in. You should already had it. Like, I'll be honest. I mean, it's if that come December, but everybody, the state championship games are in December, playoffs. Come January, February, you should already done had the playbook already and been studying it. Had a playbook between February and March and April. You have plenty of time to get ready. I mean, it don't take a month to get. I mean, you need a couple days to go get your dorm, get checked in, get your pads, know all that stuff. You already know the coaches, you already know the team. You already been around a team. You know the faculty and all where to go eat and all this stuff. You didn't been on the visits and all that. And even if then you have from between February and March or April to go kind of figure that out. It don't take long to figure that out. I believe that players should be able to sign in February and then still be able to go to spring practice. I don't understand why that would be an issue. And I think that would work better because then guys like Lane Kiffin wouldn't have to do all this. They could really, or not to the extent they're doing it now. It'd give them more time to go make a playoff run, and then hey, I can leave. Like Lane Kiffin, he may have lost the first week or whatever. Then by December 25th or whatever, 26th, you could have been recruiting for your next recruiting class. He wouldn't have had to leave so early. I think maybe if you back, like depending on how you want to do. Like I said, I'm just throwing out dates. I'm not like I said. I'm sitting down about to make a decision about what's going to happen. But you get what I'm saying. I think if these things are backed up till the end of January, early February, it would remove situations like this and make it a lot easier on coaches because then okay, the portal's not opening up to the end of January. I don't got to worry about the portal right now. So I'm gonna focus on my team. Man, if I'm Lincoln, I don't have to talk about where I'm going right now because the signing day is not till what February 14th. So I have plenty of time. That's almost a month between now and that championship game. That's even if I make the that championship game. So it's like that. I think that would be alleviating pressure. And then end of January, you get the transfer portal. Like I said, that make it a lot easier for guys like Lane because hey, by the time I get there, the portal's still probably not going to be open. Unless you make the national, and even if you make national, the portal's still not going to be open. So by the time you get LSU, you're already there. So it's like it makes it a lot easier to you don't have to rush things because and then the way we're doing it right now is they're following the academic calendar, and so that's forcing them to make the December signing December 3rd and make the portal this and that, and they're doing everything off academics when it's really just really a waste of time. To be honest, I mean that signing day is not anything to do with academics, but the portal is definitely academically because you have to be enrolled to be enrolled for the fall semester or whatever. You got to be enrolled by a certain time. Like it's a whole bunch of stuff. So and you got to have the grades and have all this, and you got to meet all these requirements to get in, and you got to fight to get these. Some of these players got to fight just to get into school and have to commit to a certain day, or they're not going to be able to get into school, and like it just would remove all that. So I like that idea. But again, I just there's some ideas that the committee, like even if we were to do my idea, which is I just thought about this like I mean, I haven't thought much, I put much thought into this and about the exact days and what would work best and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, my plan would be better than whatever the hell's happening now. So, like, that's the problem. NCAA, they're not making these changes the way they need to be, and so that's my issue. But it's not Lane's fault. To repeat some of what I'm saying, it's the NCAA's fault. They're doing a horrible job at making it easy for coaches to transition from here to here, making it easy for coaches to not have to worry about like who the portal, all that kind of stuff. While they're trying to win a national championship, that's the next thing too. Players need to be employees or whatever, so that way these players can legally sign contracts like the NFL players do. That's what needs to be done. These players need to be able to sign contracts just like the NFL: 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year. I think they need to be able to do that, and they need to be and just like NFL. If you want to sign a 1 year, you can. If you want to sign 2 year, you can. If y'all two agree on that, go ahead. And I think the numbers, and then you be able to announce the numbers, that kind of stuff. I believe this system is very broken. Like I said, I think the next thing, like I said, my biggest problem is like trying to re-sign players while you're trying to make a national championship run. Trying to re-sign players every single year is not something that's productive for football. I shouldn't like if I'm Ohio State and I know, look, Jeremiah Smith, he ain't going nowhere. We're winning. Let's just sign to a 2 year, and this time next year I don't want to worry about. I don't or like Jeremiah Smith, you could have signed to a 2 year contract last year. You don't got to worry about re-signing Jeremiah Smith. Now you got to go back and renegotiate. Oh, get what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lot of when you it's like if there was able to make a way where, like in the NFL, when you come in, if you're first round pick, you get five, you get that 4th year, then you get the 5th year team option, team can pick up or not. Imagine if in the NFL every year they had to worry about re-signing their first round pick. Okay, I got to re-sign with you. I got to renegotiate with you again. My starting left tackle, every year I got to renegotiate. Because every year in college football, you have to renegotiate with pretty much your whole entire roster. And so that's just a headache, and it's not something that's productive for coaches, front offices, staff, GMs, all that kind of stuff. It's not productive for the players or the coaches or the front offices. So it's like, like I said, these are just some things I noticed that need to be changed. And I'm hoping they do because there's a lot of problems in college football, and Lane Kiffin is just exposing what the problems are. And I'm glad. I hope they just put an eye on it. It's not Lane Kiffin's fault. It's the NCAA's fault because they're not doing a good enough job fixing this stuff. They're just sitting on their hands and watching it happen and not making a change and making it better. So that's on the NCAA. So like I said, my grade for the hire, I'd probably give it a my grade on the and here's a coach and recruiter is going to be an A plus 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 plus. Reminds you a lot of when Texas hired Sark, big time brand, offensive mind, fits the era, and with that kind of offense, recruiters are going to be running the play for him. So it's an A plus 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 hire. He's going to get a bunch of NIL, and I think he needs to retain Blake Baker. Now Blake Baker has one thing for me. Blake Baker struggled for Jalen Milroe's first year at LSU. Well, for second year, he struggled for Milroe in 2024, and 2 years in a row he's gotten destroyed by Marcel Reed. So that's something I believe that's going to have to change is how he handles those read option, those type of quarterbacks who are like naturally gifted runners and I probably should be playing running back to be honest, but naturally gifted runners who are playing quarterback out of position. How do you handle the Marcel Reed? How do you handle Jalen Rose? Because that's been a big issue for him as quarterbacks that can really run. He's done a horrible job. He's getting destroyed by those quarterbacks. So I think to change. But other than that, I think they're like what top 15 ranked nationally on defense. And so I mean like I think like I said, I think he's good enough to come back with Lane, and see what he can do. But I want to see improvements in that area because I think if he can improve that, his defense can really take a next step into being that dominant top five number one level defense. Um, and then they can restart, and then you make that would make LSU really hard to beat, almost impossible. So I said, I like where this is headed. I love the hire. My questions right are just like I said, how does Blake Bigger handle running quarterbacks defensively? It's something he needs to answer. And then when it comes to Lane, how long is he going to be there? Because as long as he's there, they're going to be a dominant program. But how long is he going to be there? I've yet to see an LSU coach just hang around and just be there for a long time, and that's kind of going to be at least when I've been alive. So that's going to be concerning for LSU. But this is A plus plus hire as a coach and as a recruiter. LSU, you couldn't have done any better. Just now, how long is Lane Kiffin going to be there? Is my biggest question for Lane and LSU. And I don't know if anybody has a. I don't even know. I don't think Lane has a answer to that question. So